By eating this daily, dizziness after 65 could disappear. 6 foods for seniors, senior health. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of dizziness that made you stop in your tracks and wonder, am I losing my balance? For many older adults, that unsettling sensation isn't just an occasional nuisance. It's a recurring issue, one that disrupts daily life, chips away at independence, and in some cases leads to dangerous falls. What's even more troubling is that most people don't realize just how much their diet and daily habits play a role in whether they stay steady or stumble. The good news is, doctors have identified specific foods and routines that can naturally reduce dizziness and help you feel more stable with every step. In this video, we'll explore 5 simple but powerful changes you can make to stop dizziness from interrupting your life. These habits can improve circulation, boost brain function, and help you stay upright and confident when standing, walking, or getting out of bed. If you've ever felt lightheaded when rising from your chair or unsteady while taking a few steps, this video is for you. Stay with us until the end, because the final tip we'll share is something very few people talk about, yet it may be the key to preventing dizziness before it even starts. Now, let's begin with one of the most overlooked yet essential minerals when it comes to balance: potassium. Potassium isn't just any mineral. It's a quiet conductor behind the scenes, making sure everything in your body runs smoothly. One of its most critical roles is maintaining stable blood pressure and supporting nerve signals that control your muscles, including your heart and blood vessels. Here's the science. When you stand up or change positions quickly, your body needs to send blood to your brain in an instant to keep you alert and prevent that dizzy spell. Potassium helps your heart contract effectively and keeps your blood vessels flexible so blood flows freely. But when potassium levels drop, the heart may beat weaker, vessels tighten, and suddenly you're dizzy, disoriented, or even off balance for a few seconds. One common reason older adults experience low potassium is because of diuretics, medications often prescribed for high blood pressure or heart issues. While these pills help your body release excess water, they also flush out important electrolytes like potassium without you even realizing it. I'm reminded of Dorothy, a 71-year-old from Phoenix, Arizona. She was the picture of discipline, ate clean, exercised lightly, and had recently adopted a vegetarian diet to help manage her cholesterol. But a few months in, she began to feel weak, especially in the mornings. One day, she simply stood up from her sofa to grab a glass of water and suddenly had to sit back down. Dizziness hit her like a wave. At first, Dorothy thought maybe she was just tired from a poor night's sleep, but during a routine checkup, her doctor ran a blood test, and that's when they discovered her potassium levels were significantly low. Her diet was full of veggies, but it lacked potassium-rich foods like bananas, sweet potatoes, oranges, and spinach. On top of that, she was taking a diuretic daily, which was quietly draining her potassium levels without her knowing. Once she understood the cause, the fix was surprisingly simple. She added 1 banana to her breakfast, roasted a sweet potato for dinner, and tossed spinach into her daily salad. The change was almost immediate. Dorothy began feeling stronger, more alert, and the dizzy spells she used to dread when standing up, they stopped. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt lightheaded when standing up from your bed or the sofa? What did you do in that moment? Sit back down, hold on to something, or try to power through even though everything felt a little off? If you've ever experienced that, please share your story in the comments below. Sometimes a single shared experience can help someone else recognize what's really going on in their own body. A little potassium every day, from a banana, a sweet potato, or a glass of orange juice, can help keep your heart rhythm steady, your blood pressure balanced, and your mind clear. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just make small, consistent changes. You're watching WiseElders, where we explore small things that can make a big difference in helping you stay healthy, steady, and independent as you age. And before we move on, here's something that might surprise you. According to the CDC, nearly 36 million Americans aged 65 and older suffer a fall each year. And in many of those cases, the fall could have been prevented just by making sure the body had the nutrients it needs to stay balanced. So, let's keep going. The next nutrient we're going to talk about is one that has a direct impact on how much oxygen reaches your brain and whether or not you feel dizzy. Let's talk about iron. Iron is an incredibly important nutrient, not just for young people, but especially for older adults. And here's why. If your body doesn't have enough iron, your brain doesn't get the oxygen it needs. Many people don't realize that dizziness can often be caused by something as simple and serious as iron deficiency anemia. Iron is essential for producing hemoglobin, the protein in your red blood cells that carries oxygen from your lungs to your organs, including your brain. When iron is low, your red blood cell count drops, and that means your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. As a result, you may feel lightheaded, dizzy, short of breath, or even nauseous, especially when you stand up quickly or exert yourself. Iron deficiency is even more common in older adults because as we age, our bodies absorb nutrients less efficiently, and many seniors tend to eat simpler meals, often with less red meat or animal protein. Postmenopausal women and those with chronic digestive issues are especially at risk for long-term iron deficiency. I think of Mary, a 76-year-old woman living in Ohio. Strong, independent, widowed for years, and still taking care of her home and driving herself to the grocery store every week. But recently, she started feeling completely drained. One day, while standing in line at the checkout, she suddenly became lightheaded. Her legs felt weak, and she had to sit down right there in the store. Mary initially thought it was just her age, or maybe poor sleep catching up with her, but during a full medical checkup, her doctor discovered she had mild anemia caused by low iron levels. She rarely ate red meat and didn't include enough iron-rich foods in her meals. The doctor recommended that she eat beef liver twice a week, add more dark leafy greens like kale and spinach, and drink a small glass of orange juice after meals to boost her body's ability to absorb iron from plant-based foods. And in just a month, the difference was remarkable. Mary no longer felt lightheaded when standing. Her sleep improved, and her mind felt clearer, more focused. If you've ever felt exhausted for no clear reason, found yourself short of breath after simple tasks, or felt dizzy when you stood up, your body might be quietly starving for iron, and you wouldn't even know it. These symptoms can be subtle whispers from your body asking for help. If this sounds familiar, or you have your own story about dizziness or fatigue, please share it in the comments below. You never know, your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to understand what's happening in their own body. Now that we've seen how essential iron is for delivering oxygen to the brain, let's talk about another silent powerhouse, magnesium. Magnesium does so much more than ease muscle cramps or help you relax. It's actually a key player in keeping your nervous system and circulation running smoothly. It helps your heart maintain a steady rhythm, keeps your blood pressure balanced, and most importantly, it allows signals to travel properly between your brain and body. Without enough magnesium, things can start to feel off. Here's what happens. Your brain tries to send a message. Stand up, turn left, grab that cup, but your muscles or nerves lag behind, like a faulty connection. This delay can make you feel dizzy, wobbly, or disconnected from your own body. Biologically, magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. It helps regulate everything from nerve activity to heart rate to muscle movement. When your magnesium levels drop too low, you might experience irregular heartbeat, increased anxiety, muscle twitches, numbness in the limbs, or disrupted sleep, all of which can compromise your balance and sense of stability. According to the National Institutes of Health, people over 60 are more likely to be deficient in magnesium. Why? Because our digestive systems become less efficient with age, and common medications, like diuretics, antacids, or diabetes drugs, can slowly drain our magnesium levels day by day, often without any obvious warning signs. I'm reminded of Harold, a 68-year-old from Sacramento, California. He was always an active, agile man, but recently he has started experiencing muscle cramps at night, and one morning he nearly slipped while stepping down the stairs. At first, he chalked it up to aging or maybe just moving the wrong way, but after a checkup, his doctor discovered that his magnesium levels were below normal. Harold had a fairly simple diet. He enjoyed coffee and often took antacids for digestive discomfort. Two habits that over time had quietly depleted his body's magnesium without any obvious warning signs. After learning this, he made a few small changes, adding pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, avocados, and almonds into his meals. Within just a few weeks, he noticed a real shift. His body felt lighter, he was sleeping better, and the shaky feeling when standing up began to disappear. While food is the best source, some people may benefit from magnesium supplements, but only with a doctor's recommendation. Too much magnesium, especially from pills, can lead to diarrhea or electrolyte imbalances. For most older adults, the safest and most effective approach is still a well-rounded, consistent diet. Here's a simple tip. Try drinking natural mineral water that contains magnesium, or sprinkle some almonds on your morning oatmeal, toss spinach into your soup, or enjoy a few slices of avocado with your lunch. These tiny shifts can make a big difference over time. Let me ask you, have you ever experienced nighttime cramps or that tingling, pins and needles feeling in your hands or feet? That could be your body's way of saying, I'm running low on magnesium. Please share your experience in the comments below, because your story might just help someone else recognize what's happening in their own body. Now think back to the last time you felt unsteady. Maybe your heart raced for no reason. Maybe your mind felt like it was floating, disconnected. Are you sure it was just fatigue? Or could it have been your brain sending a silent SOS? Maybe the real issue lies in a type of fat your brain desperately needs and doesn't get enough of. If magnesium helps your nerves and muscles stay in sync, omega-3s are your brain and blood vessels' best ally. And trust me, after age 60, your ability to stay balanced and sharp doesn't just depend on your legs. It depends just as much on what's going on inside your brain. Omega-3s are essential fatty acids that your body can't make on its own. They're found in high concentrations in brain cell membranes and play a vital role in keeping blood vessels flexible, reducing inflammation, and supporting steady blood flow to the brain. When your brain gets the oxygen and nutrients it needs, you feel alert, grounded, and stable. But when blood flow slows, especially during sudden movements, dizziness, fogginess, and loss of balance can quickly follow. According to research from Harvard Medical School, omega-3 deficiency can impair cerebral blood flow and increase the risk of dizziness and cognitive decline in older adults. And here's the scary part. Even a few seconds of reduced oxygen to the brain can make you feel like your feet aren't touching the ground, or like the room is spinning when you simply turn your head too fast. I remember speaking with George, a 73-year-old from Vermont. A lifelong book lover, George had recently been feeling mentally foggy, especially after lunch. One afternoon, he walked from the kitchen toward his backyard and suddenly had to grab the counter to steady himself. He figured it was just part of aging or maybe a blood pressure issue. But after seeing his doctor, he learned that he was severely low in omega-3s. George rarely ate fish. He didn't eat nuts. He'd never thought much about healthy fats. But once his doctor explained the connection, he made a few simple changes. Eating salmon twice a week, adding walnuts to his breakfast, and occasionally taking a spoonful of flaxseed oil in the evening. Within a few weeks, his mind felt clearer, and those dizzy moments, they nearly disappeared. One of the best things about omega-3s is how easy they are to get through food. You don't need to rely on pills unless necessary. Just eat fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines, or add seeds like chia, walnuts, or flax seeds to your meals. These natural sources provide the brain with exactly what it needs to function at its best. Just a quick note. If you're on blood thinners, talk to your doctor before taking omega-3 supplements, as high doses can thin the blood further. Now let me ask you, have you ever felt foggy, had trouble focusing, or lost your sense of direction when turning your head quickly? Could it be your brain asking for better nutrition? If that sounds familiar, share your story in the comments below. You never know. Your experience might help someone else recognize what they've been feeling too. And if you found this information helpful today, please hit the like button and share this video with someone you care about, especially if they've been struggling with lightheadedness or mental fog. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, where every week we explore new ways to stay healthy, balanced, and wise as we age, with confidence and care. We've already talked about important nutrients like potassium, iron, magnesium, and omega-3s. But sometimes it's the simplest thing, like water, that can have the most powerful impact on your balance and daily well-being. Many people assume they're drinking enough water. But the truth is, chronic dehydration is extremely common in older adults, even if they never feel thirsty. Just because you're not reaching for a glass doesn't mean your body has what it needs. So, let's take a closer look at what might be silently happening inside you. After the age of 60, our bodies become less efficient at conserving water. You might not feel dehydrated, but in reality, your total body water is decreasing. As hydration drops, your blood volume lowers too, which can cause a drop in blood pressure. And when blood doesn't reach your brain fast enough, you feel dizzy, lightheaded, fatigued, sometimes without warning. But water doesn't work alone. It's also the vehicle that carries critical electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, nutrients that help keep your heart rhythm steady, your nerves firing correctly, and your muscles moving smoothly. When you're low on fluids, your electrolyte balance is thrown off. And that's when even small movements, standing up, turning too fast, can throw you off balance. I remember Evelyn, an 80-year-old woman from Colorado Springs, independent, sharp-minded, and active, but recently she'd been experiencing mild headaches and that floating feeling whenever she walked in her garden. She didn't drink much water, not because she didn't care, but because she feared waking up at night to use the bathroom. A common reason many older adults limit their fluid intake. But what she didn't realize was that her body had slipped into a state of mild ongoing dehydration that had gone unnoticed for weeks. After speaking with her doctor, Evelyn began making small but meaningful changes. Instead of drinking large amounts all at once, she sipped water in small amounts throughout the day. She drank warm water in the morning, added hydrating fruits like watermelon and oranges to her meals, and even started drinking natural coconut water in the afternoon. Sometimes she added a tiny pinch of mineral salt to her broth or drinking water to help retain electrolytes. Within just a week, her energy lifted. She no longer felt dizzy when getting up from her chair. Her body felt more refreshed, her mind more clear. One quick tip before we move on. If you're only drinking plain water, especially on hot days or while taking diuretics, you might still end up imbalanced. That's because water alone doesn't replace electrolytes, which your body needs to function properly. Instead, try including natural electrolyte sources like coconut water, homemade vegetable broth, or unsweetened, dye-free electrolyte drinks. These options hydrate and nourish at the same time. Let me ask you, do you drink water regularly throughout the day? What's your favorite way to stay hydrated? Share in the comments below, and let's learn from one another. Sometimes something as simple as drinking water the right way can be the very thing that prevents a dangerous fall. We've now walked through some of the most important nutrients, from potassium to hydration and electrolytes. But there's still one more name that often gets overlooked: vitamin B12. And if you're over 60, this is one nutrient that can directly affect your mental clarity, balance, and even memory every single day. Vitamin B12 plays a crucial role in protecting your nervous system, producing red blood cells, and delivering oxygen throughout your body. Think of it as the delivery driver that keeps communication running smoothly between your brain and your muscles. But when B12 is low, that communication starts breaking down. Signals slow, nerves misfire, and suddenly you're unsteady, foggy, or feeling tingles in your hands and feet. Here's the catch. Your body can't make B12, and it gets harder to absorb with age. We rely on foods like eggs, dairy, lean meats, and fish to get enough. But after 60, our stomachs naturally produce less acid, the very thing needed to extract B12 from food. And if you take antacids, diabetes medications, or follow a vegetarian diet, your risk of a B12 deficiency climbs even higher. I think of Frank, a 79-year-old from Seattle. He'd been forgetting names, feeling mentally foggy, and especially disoriented every morning when he first got out of bed. At first, he thought it was just sleep deprivation. But after testing, his doctor found his B12 levels were dangerously low. Frank was advised to start small, adding boiled eggs to his breakfast, eating more tuna, and switching from plant-based milk to regular dairy. He also began taking a sublingual B12 supplement, which absorbs more easily, especially in older adults. Within just a few weeks, Frank noticed a huge difference. He felt lighter in his head, more focused, and those morning dizzy spells, nearly gone. It goes to show, sometimes one tiny missing nutrient can disrupt your entire system. So let me ask, have you ever had your B12 levels checked? Have you ever felt mentally foggy or slightly lost after waking up? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. We've now explored 6 powerful nutrients, each one small but incredibly impactful in helping you live with clarity, strength, and balance after 60. From potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and keeps your heart beating steadily every time you stand, to iron, which fuels the blood that carries oxygen to your brain, keeping your mind sharp. Magnesium ensures smooth communication between your brain and your body, so your movements stay fluid and balanced. Omega-3 support memory and blood flow, helping you avoid that off-kilter feeling when turning your head. Water and electrolytes keep your body from quietly drying out, something we often don't notice until it's too late. And finally, vitamin B12, the key to staying alert, mentally clear, and steady both in body and in mind. These nutrients aren't far-off solutions. They're in your daily meals, in the glass of water you sip in the morning, in something as simple as a banana. And the best part? You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start small, and your body will notice. A banana at breakfast, a handful of greens with lunch, a glass of coconut water in the afternoon, a piece of salmon once or twice a week. These ordinary little steps become the foundation for extraordinary stability, for every step, every heartbeat, and every moment of independence you cherish. Because no matter your age, I truly believe you deserve to live actively, confidently, and on your own terms. If you learned something today, or simply felt seen and understood, please click like to support this message. Share this video with someone you love, because one small share today could help someone prevent a fall tomorrow. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Tell me, what nutrient will you start focusing on? Or have you ever struggled with dizziness yourself? We read every comment because the Golden Wise Elders community isn't just about knowledge, it's about honoring and uplifting each other's journeys through aging. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We'll see you in the next video, where each week we grow older together with wisdom, courage, and love.